Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I pray that everyone is doing well. Pray that everyone is holding on. It's not always easy. We're living in the time of Corona, this COVID-19, and it's definitely taking its toll on a lot of people in different ways. A lot of people have died. A lot of people have gotten extremely sick. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have had to endure everything that comes with unemployment, the lack of. Bills are catching up. Bills are, adding up. Children are being taught at home and they're getting restless and they need to be around their friends and peers and what have you. And it's just a lot going on. So I pray that everyone is holding on and digging deep on those days when things feel a lot harder. God doesn't place on us burdens that we don't have the strength to bear. And though they seem unbearable at times, he fashioned us. He breathed the breath of life into us, so he knows we're capable of enduring. And so we can do it if we just believe in ourselves. With that said, thank everybody for watching. I thank everybody for tuning in. And I want to thank everybody for your support. And that is going to be my topic today. I try to be brief, but I believe it is a serious topic because so many people, so many of us, we do not support the people that we should support as much as we should support them. And so before I go into that again, thank you all for watching these videos. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for sharing. Even if you can't watch the entire video, if you look at a few seconds, a few minutes, or you tell someone else to watch it, I truly appreciate it. I honestly do, because I have a vision of speaking before youth, speaking before those young wayward teens who are out here living the life that I used to live, and some worse, some not as much as, but we want to bring our babies home. We want to bring them home from prison. We want to bring them home from juvenile. We want to bring them home from those streets, and we want to stop them from going in those directions. So if I can say something that might enlighten us, those of us who are parents, uncles, aunts, fathers, mothers, grandparents, whatever, to be a little more involved in the lives of those we love, then that is a blessing. So I'm grateful for everyone and you all support. When I used to read books, and I don't know when I started this, but I always looked at the shout out page, the acknowledgement page. And I used to read it. For a minute, I didn't know why. I just always read the acknowledgement page. It's like the intro to the book. I would always read that, because you learn a little more about the author and things like that. But when I read the acknowledgement page, a lot of time, I did it. And then eventually I began to realize why I was doing it, because I wondered what people helped encourage that person to write. Who motivated that person to write, to travel down that path? And I've read so many books, but almost all of them had the same, thank my second grade teacher, thank my mom, thank my sister for proofreading my work, thank you to my best friend for supporting me, thank my family for giving me money to help me with my first transcript. And I would always smile at that, because in growing up, you look around, especially in that inner city, and there's so much talent. There's so many kids out here that can draw. And I didn't know. I have a younger brother, and he's a beast with the pen. He can draw us behind all, but we have a large group of talented people in our family. My father was a painter. A couple of my brothers are artists, real good. A couple of my cousins, a couple of my nieces, they're, great with the pen. And I'm talking like real professional type work. And so I've seen that in prison. I've seen guys who could draw you in 30 minutes. And I'm talking about every detail, from the bags under your eye to the, the stubble in your bed. And you wonder, like, why didn't you do this on the street? Why did you make money on the street? Why did you sell drugs? Or why did you do this or that? And now you're making cards in prison for $3 a card, with such talent. And I knew guys that could sing. There was a guy up on Fairmont Street named Monty, and he was a singer. You know, I mean, he was real good. I used to sing, you know, when he was standing around us, or we'd be playing. He went to there was a talent show in Cardozo High School called Shades of Purple, I believe. And they used to have, you know, talent from different schools. And he sang there one time, you know, in front of a large audience, you know what I'm saying, a few hundred children. And so he could sing. But I always wondered why our parents, honestly and humbly, did not push these things or nurture these talents, these qualities. And, you know, of course, finances had a lot to do with it. You have a child that can draw, you know, you might buy him some drawing paper, but you as a parent, if you're not aware of what's out there for him or her, then you are not going to push it. You're not going to push him or her to go and pursue that. You're going to probably tell them, stop drawing on everything, you know, focus on your schoolwork, et cetera, et cetera. But you don't know that if you nurture that talent, he or she could be the next person to draw a mural on a wall that could gain them notoriety. That could be their niche in life. They could be the one that designs the next logo for the next up and coming business. So your support, your encouragement is essential. I've seen clothing labels in DC. We had a clothing label called Madness Connection, and it was nice. A lot of people got it. We supported it for the most part when I was out. Then as I got, when I was locked up, there was other clothing labels that came out of DC. I think one called DDTP and one Saviato and a few others. Then we always had those homegrown artists that did the t-shirts with the guys and people on front, bald heads and dreads and things like that. They were always on sold as stands and what have you. So we supported that. And I know that, you know, other rappers and artists, Fat Joe had his own clothing label, 50 Cent had his own, Puffy and Master P and Nelly and a lot of artists. I think Beyonce has her own, and a lot of people have their own clothing labels. What used to bother me and still does, I remember seeing Kanye get signed to Rockefeller, you know, from television. And over the years, you know, he would call himself the Louis Vuitton Don. And I never understood that. How can you sign to or be signed to a record label that has its own clothing label, and they put millions in your pocket, allowed you to take your mom and those you love out of the projects, out of a rough environment, and into a nice home, a nice, safe environment, and you're provided with the things you want, definitely the things you need because of your talent, of course, but they provided this for you. And you're supporting avidly someone else's clothing label. I never understood that. If someone signed me and put millions in my pocket and they have clothes, I'm going to wear their clothes on my video shoot. I'm going to wear their clothes on the front of my album cover. That's just, to me, that's real. That's, you know, that's just to me. And so, again, you have women. Valentine's Day is coming up. And everybody that has a boo or is bunned up, they're going to, you know, give their lady or lady friends, their wives, girlfriends or whatever, they're going to give them, you know, some flowers, some chocolates and things like that. But the ladies in our lives, they do for us 365 days a year. And we wait for one time, mostly. I'm not saying guys, you know, don't do anything throughout the course of the year. I know many guys that are good dudes, man, they do stuff throughout the course of the year, no doubt about it. But you women know better than me that a lot of people wait till Valentine's Day to give you that big box of chocolates and give you a few flowers that they done bought from CVS or something. And maybe nowadays the edible arrangements and, you know, that's about it, you know, a card maybe, and they'll sit and watch TV and PlayStation all day thinking that's sufficient for everything you done. The clothes you done ironed, the food you done cooked, the Uber you done sent to them and for them, the Uber Eats you done sent to them, the care, the love, the understanding, the patience, the tolerance that you've done. You all aren't supported enough. Mothers aren't supported enough. Grandparents aren't supported enough. We don't even pick the phones up and call one another enough. And it doesn't have to be everybody in the family. It can just be those members that not everybody calls. You know, sometimes the popular ones in the family, they're all right. They get enough phone calls, they get enough visits. But what about those family members that are on the peripheral? We have to be mindful of supporting one another. We have to be mindful of supporting one another's dreams, one another's visions. And so, like I said, I didn't want to be long. I'm just saying if we can, and if we have it to do, and it's not all about finances. Sometimes it's just about the heart. It's just about the character. Support one another. Spend a few dollars and order your friend's book. Order your cousin's book, your sister's book. If your sister, brother, niece writes poetry, encourage them to write poetry. They have so many outlets and free publishing companies on the phone and on Google, Amazon, Lulu.com. These are free. You can just type up a book and put it out through these platforms, and it's done. So if you have family members that like to write and they're good at writing, encourage them. Encourage them. Find some resources and help them put this stuff out. If they draw, get some t-shirts made. Get some posters made. Whatever we do, then it's okay to support one another. We have black clothing labels. Let's buy their stuff. Man, we break our necks sometime. I did it. We will hustle all day and all night just to buy some polo shirts, buy some Tommy Hilfiger, buy Guess jeans, polo boots. And then when we talk about them, even those of us who are conscious, we still say it with such energy. Yeah, I had the purple low with the green horse, but we don't say that about the black clothing label. We don't say that with the same energy, the same, fervor, So I'm saying, and again, I'm guilty of it. I'm just saying that when we sit back and ask ourselves, where are we not being supported? Why aren't people calling us just to say hi, but they call us when they need us? They call you when they need a babysitter. They call you when you need, when they need money. They call you when they need a ride. They call you when they need your ear. But do they call you just to encourage you? Do they call you just to say what you need? Do we really care about one another? Do we really love one another? And if we do, where's the application? People have said it, and it is the truth. Love is a verb. It is an action word. It can be said. And if you prove it, then when you say it, it means all the more, it means all the more. It carries a great weight when your actions, back it. But when there are no actions behind those words, it rings hollow. And so when we sit back today, ask ourselves, how are we supporting our friends? What do we say? What do we do to encourage them to reach for their dream? And is there anything that we can do to push them towards what they say they like, what they say they love? It is, if it's good and healthy for them. That's what we should ask ourselves. Do we listen to conscious rappers, or do we listen to things that fuel our spirits as opposed to drain or add, sometimes foolish thoughts and energy to our persons? Do we do those things for ourselves and for each other that are good for us, that are better for us, that will take us out the state of mind we're in into a greater state, or the state, of living we're in into a greater state? Do we do these things? And if we do we encourage those around us to do the same, And so, again, like I said, I didn't want to go too long. I did, and I apologize. But I just want to say, let us support one another a little more, just a little more. And like I said, this isn't for me. You all have helped me. You all have, put smiles on my face, man, encouraged me. And I thank you all for that, because like I say, my dream is a selfless dream. Honestly, I know I owe, and I just want to give back. But there are so many others that owe, and they're trying to get back. There are so many others that just want to do, and they're trying to do something good. And we have to continue to encourage one another. So if we see something on Facebook, some people twerking or some guys falling on their face or some fights, we can't always like and comment on that silly stuff. You see something good, you see some queens doing what they're supposed to do, shining, looking modest, showing respect. You see some brothers out there, man, holding their children, loving their children. You see some positivity out there, man. Don't just hit a thumb or hit that little like and all that. Man, not only share it, but find a way to be involved in it. It's people out here right now, man. It's like 32 degrees out here. It was been snowing and sleeting the last week, man. And I ride down the street and I see these homeless people. Man, it weighs heavy on my heart because, they don't have to be there, but I don't know their tale. But if we can do for those we love, if we can do a little bit for those, man, God gonna bless us. the Most High gonna bless us, man, in abundance. So, let us come out of ourselves sometime, out of our own comfort zones, and let us support one another just a little more. And if you're doing it, shout out to you. Big respect to you, big love to you. And if you are trying to figure out how to do it, just do it. Just do it. It's really not hard. It's really not, because we do it for everybody else. So with that said, again, I thank you all for your support. I thank you all for, liking my videos, your comments, your questions, your encouragements. And again, continue to, share it with whoever, just share it. Like I say, it may be something someone needs or likes. It may not be. And I thank you, for the opportunity to allow me to reach in people's homes and people's ears, because I'm going to do the same, and I continue to do the same. Next week, I want to talk about my life, where I started off, how I was born, the neighborhoods, because I want to show maybe why my opinions, why my perspective matters, just as yours may, and does. So thank you all. Have a good day. Strive to have a great one, and, strive to encourage others to do the same. Appreciate you.